from authorities.
Let's say your favorite band's Cradle of Filth, and that the plug is like no one else in this county has music, but I got it. And he's like, you know what you want to hear? Man, do you got any new Cradle of Filth? Yeah, I got it. But look, how much? How much is it? It's gonna be $15 for 30 seconds. All right.
It's like you going to a Sam Goody back in the day.
You're literally, All right, give it back. And you're like, oh, give me one more.
Here, take this. I got a card. Just scan it for what you need, man. I need an hour.
Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, Smokey, what you seen, and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think, and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash Talk.
What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Trash Talkers Podcast.
We made it.
We made it, Smoke Dog.
Yeah,
What's
we did.
What's happening? What's going on?
A lot going on in the world, but not much with me. I'm trying to stay out of all that madness.
God dang, everything?
Yeah, everything, man. Yeah, the world's gone crazy, man. I don't know.
Man,
I don't want to be involved in all that.
We starting to sound like our parents, man.
Ain't it?
The world's going crazy. The world's going mad.
Yeah. The world has just lost its mind.
There has to be something good, positive going on this planet right now. Trash Talkers, y'all let us know. Is there anything you can think of?
We can't
positive?
think of it. Maybe you can.
God, there has to be something.
There is, man. It's just the media wants you to focus on the negative.
Yeah.
Because that keeps you tuned in.
Man,
when you're scared, you watch.
Yeah, it's so crazy how they feed off of your fear.
Yeah,
it's like that's what again, man. They
always has been, right?
Yeah, they say sex, violence, and
controversy
sells.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when it comes down to it, numbers are numbers, and if it don't make dollars,
it don't make sense.
Maybe again, so. If you guys are new here, this is how we start off these podcasts. We always read the top 3 comments that came from the previous podcast. Do you remember the podcast from last week?
Satanism.
Satanism and hip hop.
Yeah.
So the number 3 most liked comment comes from Paul Haney. Paul Haney says, hi both. Great, interesting podcast. I didn't realize there was a satanic element in any other genre apart from metal. I do have a couple of questions regarding Satanism and hip hop. Number 1. Has any of the hip-hop artists burnt down churches like their black metal counterparts in Norway? Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, me either. I actually responded to that comment. But yeah, but I would not be surprised if it has happened.
All right, number 2. How does the media portray these satanic hip-hop artists in Europe when the black metal artists burnt down? Okay, well I guess that's a question too. So how does the media portray these satanic hip-hop artists? They don't.
Not like, yeah, exactly. Not like they did back in the Satanic Panic. Like, they just ignore it to this point, because now that the world's more PC, you're like, well, we can't say anything about their religion, so they just leave it alone.
Continuing on with your comment, Paul, he says, in Europe, when the black metal artists burnt down churches, there was a big outrage from the media emphasizing on the satanic panic that started back in the 1980s. A little bit of trivia. You gave a shout out to the armed forces. There are 2 countries in the world that does not have a standing army. Can you name them?
Oh, he said it. Iceland was one of them.
That's one.
I can't remember what the other one was.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yeah.
The number 2 most liked comment from that particular podcast comes from Paul Hare. Paul Hare says, great show, guys. I grew up during the Satanic Panic. My parents didn't want me to go to the neighbor's house because the oldest kid listened to Iron Maiden and had the posters all over the walls.
Yeah. And it turns out they weren't even a satanic band.
Not at all.
They just had some crazy imagery.
Exactly.
They had the Mark of the Beast song. I guess that scared a lot of parents, but they weren't like, oh, we go to the satanic church, and stuff like that. But
I mean, some people would look at Eddie.
It'd
be like,
Nowadays, it's like that would be a comedy figure.
Yeah. The number 1 most liked comment from that particular podcast comes from John Price. Shout out to you, John Price. John Price said, it would be interesting to see how many of these rappers / musicians are theological Satanists versus philosophical Satanists. How many are actually worshiping Satan? I bet the numbers are pretty low, and the numbers playing the role are pretty high.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I would agree.
That's what we found in all music, it seems, that people use the imagery and the words just for shock value because it sells records.
Yeah.
But very few actually practice the religion.
That's the thing, man. It's, again, sex, controversy, and violence happens to sell.
If the parents hate your music, the kids want to buy it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, 100%. And people will, if it don't make dollars, don't make sense. 100%. Now, today's topic.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one here.
Yeah.
We've heard the term groupie being thrown around. Hell, not even only in rock and metal. We've also heard it in the hip hop. We've heard it in music.
Yeah.
The question is being a groupie a good thing or a bad thing?
Man, that's a tough question because it's used as a derogatory term many times. You know, if you say there's someone out there who really loves this band and they follow them everywhere and they get to know the people personally, kind of makes some people jealous at a point, you know, and they start using, oh, well, that's a groupie. They use it derogatorily to kind of throw shade at that person. But the fact is, the more groupies you have, the more money you're making.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the artists, like, yeah, it can get overbearing. There can be people who take it way too far. But the artists really depend on people like that. And it doesn't have to be just a female.
Yeah.
There's male groupies out there also.
We do need to preface that. When we say groupies, we're not specifically talking to the female audience. You know? Because there are males.
There's a lot of male groupies out there.
Yes, there are a lot of male groupies out there, you know? Now, you had said some people get jealous. Why would someone be jealous of a groupie?
Because that person has worked their way in, kind of into the inner circle and got to know them personally, you know. And, you know, people on the outside, they're like, I love this band too. Like, I got all their posters and their T-shirts. Like, I want to know them too. Man. But they can't get to that point. They either don't have the courage to make that leap.
Or the funds, or the time.
Or, you know, even if you tried it, you know, the artist might have said, well, you're not that personality that I need to interact with like that or something like that, or maybe you're overbearing, so you get jealous of the person who accomplished it and then you use it derogatorily.
The groupie could make an argument, be like, well, that just means I'm a bigger fan than you are. You know?
I bet that gets thrown back.
You know what? I got kids, but you know what? I found a babysitter because I love this band more than you do. You know what? You got posters all around this wall, around your wall. I don't have a single poster on my wall, but guess what? I followed them from Toronto all the way to Florida. You know why? Because I'm a bigger fan than you are.
Yeah, I bet that gets thrown out a lot too.
Yeah. And you do get that, man. You get, like, some people who, as an adult, God, okay, well, hold on. Before I even go on that, would you say the word groupie is specific to a certain age range? Like, are there any 50-year-old groupies? Are there any 60-year-old groupies out there?
Yeah, I would say the older you get, the less there are. But, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one problem with that, though, is when you're younger, you have more free time to follow a band.
That's where I was going with it.
So there's that. But some people who have the means to do it, you know, can continue their fandom, their extreme fandom into older adult life. Yeah.
I mean, man, I don't know, dude. If you're, as an artist, if you have like a particular group of groupies, what is a group of groupies called? That's a question.
Well, different bands have different names.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like the Deadheads for the Grateful Dead. Yeah.
But as an artist, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some artists and some bands out there who has like a particular set of groupies that has followed them around to every city. It's like, look, man, I'm tired of seeing y'all. We didn't have the same conversation in the past 14 cities.
I'm playing to the same front row every night.
Remember we went to Tool and we saw that couple and it was like, oh yeah, we followed them from Orlando to Memphis, and it was like, damn, you just seen the same.
Yeah, you know the show.
You just seen the same set list.
Hey, next, let me tell you what they're gonna play next. Descending is next, by the way.
God dang, it's almost like, man. I mean, but
I understand if that's your fandom, you know, and that's your hobby. Like, man, that's amazing for you that you have the means to do that.
Yeah. Again, I'm a bigger fan than you are because I follow them around.
Yeah, don't use it as a weapon, though.
Man, I wonder if there are some artists out there who are like, you know what, you are a true groupie. Your friends are a true group of groupies. So we're gonna give y'all a little bit of allowance. You know, this is what we made off the show. This will pay for your gas money. We'll see you at the next show.
Get that Winnebago to the next show.
You need lunch is on us, dinner's on us. You know, get you a hotel room. Like that'd be awesome if some artist did that.
Yeah. But you got to think, if they've had the money to get that far and they've already bought all the tickets for each city, they probably got some cheese on them.
I'm sure there's some groupies out there who's like, all right, look, we can do the first 5 shows. We might be able to do the next 2, but after that, we're all out of money. So then they probably be like, all right, are there any scalpers out here? Like, hey man, how much can I get that ticket for?
Yeah.
So if you got a band that actually knows their groupie fan base, you're like, you know what, man?
Look, you made all the other shows. I'm gonna put you on the guest
exactly.
list.
You know what? Hop on the bus, as a matter of fact. Now,
see, that could be tough though, because depending on how obsessed the fans are, you invite them on the bus, that could be trouble.
See, now here, and maybe this is just in my head, but since doing Rappers React, I've noticed. Or I can't even say since doing Rappers React because I have seen it in the hip hop community as well. But why is it that when I hear the word groupie, the first thing that pops into my head is someone who will do anything for that artist? And you know what I mean when I say anything.
that's a stigma for sure. But it doesn't mean you have to do that.
But why does that pop in my head? Why is that like the one?
Because
thing?
those seem like the most obsessed fans, right? The ones who are trying to have an intimate relationship with the artist.
Dude, I saw this clip. Was it DMX or Wu-Tang? So there was this chick that she came out, and this was like in the early 90s, mid 90s, something like that, late 90s. But she was like, my main goal was to get impregnated by this. And I'm like, you follow. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And first of all, to the artist, why would you want that as your baby mama? Like, if you know that, god dang.
Yeah.
Stalker.
Yeah. Dude, that's scary. It really is scary for the artists because, like, adults can have fun, you know. They can have intimate relationships with people. They're 2 consenting adults, you know. It's all fine and dandy. But when that person is like, I'm specifically trying to figure out a way to get you locked into my life for the next amount of years.
Yeah.
Probably because the artists have a lot of money, for one. But also, I'm so obsessed with you that, you know, I'm going to have you locked down and you can't go anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not going to be a good relationship. That's toxic from the beginning right there.
No. Man, I want to throw it out there because I'll say it. I don't know if you'll say it, but we have groupies. You know, we have groupies, and we've had people that follow us and know our music word by word. But I've never been the type to be like, you know, like if I know you're that obsessed, it's like I don't want you that close in a way. It's like if you're that obsessed,
yeah, because it's scary.
It is.
It's scary. You never know what they're gonna do. You know, I mean, there's people that take it too far all the time. I mean, look at the dude with Bjork.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, not only that, the dude. There was also one with an actress. I can't remember the actress. There was an actress that happened too. I think didn't Charles Manson had something to do with it?
Well, he was obsessed with the Beatles.
No, there was a female, and maybe Charles Manson didn't have anything to do with it.
But he's had groupies though.
Oh, I bet he had a cult. Of course,
he probably invites it.
He had a cult. Of course, he had
did.
groupies.
He's gone now, but yeah.
I mean, Okay, now that's a question. Charles Manson had groupies.
Yeah.
Charles Manson also had a cult. What's the difference in a cult and a groupie? And a group of groupies?
Well, a cult, I was going to say a cult, you're using manipulative tactics mentally to get those people to continue following you on your sometimes absurd rants and actions in many cases. But an artist could take advantage.
That's what I was about.
Of
I was
that.
waiting on you to bring that up because and
through lyrics and through social media posts and things like that, an artist could also take advantage of the groupie.
Can you think of any artists that are known, or any bands that are known for like using those manipulative tactics to say, hey? Well, I mean, in a way, you kind of want that as an artist. You kind of want it. God, it's a gift and a curse.
There's been some. There has been some, and there's some people that are in prison. Too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. As an artist, someone who makes music, you want people to like your music. You want people to follow you.
Yeah, you want to know that you touched people with
right.
it.
But it's like, where's that? There's a fine line between
touching them with music and touching them physically.
No,
Oh. That's where you're going with that.
No, I said there's a fine line of someone you wanting your people to your audience to follow you and I like your music and yes I'll be at your next show. But then there's another line of like, hey, you told us to come to your next show, you told us to learn all these lyrics, but you're literally trailing my bus. You're literally sleeping outside of my hotel room. Like, of course you want them to follow you and hey, come to the next show. But hey, I didn't mean be outside of my hotel room.
Not,
you know what I mean?
not beating on my hotel door because, you still have to respect the artist in that situation. But yeah, I mean, let's say you're a fan, and you really don't have a lot going on in your life. I mean, you have all this free time to follow this artist, and you love this artist so much, It could easily, like, this switch in your head get turned on to be like, that's my friend now.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a fan. Like, we're friends, We're closer than that.
They looked at me on stage one time.
Yeah.
They pointed at me.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, there has to be a certain level of mental illness for you to get to that point. But
man, you had said you got to have some cheese to do that. I'm just thinking, if you got all this... If you got all this free time, where are you getting this cheese from?
That's what I want to know.
How are you making this money if you...
Is there some parents at home that's supplying this for you? In that case, the parents at some point could go, this is unhealthy.
See, that's when...
I can't keep sending you money like this.
Right. That's why I asked the question, are there like 50, 60-year-old groupies that literally get in the car? Obviously, there's going to be more younger groupies.
Yeah, I mean...
but where are they getting...
What's the band, the hippie band, was it Fish? That still tour to this day. They've always had fans like that. I mean, I'm hoping none of them crossed the line. I haven't heard any crazy stories, but they were like Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
They had caravans of people following their tour, and they could go out today and probably still draw those people that will hit every single city on the tour.
For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm thinking when I hear groupie, there's two genres that pop, or three, actually. 3 genres. Like, you ain't never heard a story of Kenny G having groupies. You ain't never heard you ain't never heard a story of...
There might be though. There might be, but
you don't hear
not as likely.
You don't yes, this guy has made music, but you don't hear stories of Farnsworth Bentley having groupies. Yes, he has made music. But when I think of groupies, I think the hippie, the psychedelic artist.
Yeah.
I said 3 genres. So the hippie, the psychedelic, hip hop, and metal. Yeah. I guess, okay, let's take metal out and just add rock because
rock
it's an
in general.
umbrella.
Yeah.
But it seems like those 3 genres are where the hippies are at. I mean, or the groupies. The hippies, hip hop, and rock.
Yeah.
What's that about? Why is...
Maybe those are going to be the wilder fan bases. But I'm sure there's a lot of country artists that get it.
It's just like you don't hear about it. Like
you don't really.
I mean, like, think about Cash Money Records. You know how many people in Master P, man, I heard Stone Temple Pilots had a really big like group of people that would follow them. I think they called themselves the Pilots, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys know, let us.
I wouldn't doubt that. It feels like the artists who, the longer you're established, the more you get people like that. Of course, you put out your first album, you're not going to have caravans following your tour. You're probably just opening for someone who does at that point.
Man, you say that, but now in the hip hop grand scheme of things, I remember when P.D. Pablo, I remember an MTV clip. Remember that first song you put, "Take your shirt off, twist it right in helicopter." Dude, I remember him being in like not a Sprinter van, it wasn't a limo, but it was like a nice little Cadillac thing where he had a driver. Yeah. And I just remember all these girls were on he just put out one song.
Well, maybe though, he had a local following in North Carolina.
I think this was in Iowa.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know how he would.
That's what I'm saying.
That could be like an MTV production though, and they're like, yeah, y'all come over here when the car drives by, y'all act like, go rabid fan on him.
Man, when you think of the biggest, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
He had a faint section.
Yeah.
God dang.
There's a pop star that's outside of those 3 genres.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Man, so you said a lot of the groupies who followed these bands usually have names. Like you got the Deadheads.
Yeah.
What would Pink Floyd's groupie group called? The Walls?
The Walls.
What would they be called?
The Darksiders or something. The Moonies.
The Moonies.
Which actually is
The
kind
Animal,
of a religious cultist group.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Animals, but there is a band called the Animals. I don't know, man.
Yeah, the Animals would have been good though.
The Animals.
Yeah.
What Smokey Ramirez? What would your groupie group be called?
Oh man. The smoking section.
We're the smoking section. All right,
Yeah.
come on in. Where do we belong? In the smoking section.
Right over there.
Yeah.
It's all cornered off for you.
Yeah. No, man, but
With the fans over the top, so blow it right off.
need that ventilation going on.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the question of this particular podcast. Is a groupie a good thing or bad thing for the artist?
It's
Name
good for
some pros and name some cons.
The pros, if it doesn't cross into toxic territory, the pros is people are group animals. You know, we see someone else having fun, it makes us more inclined to have fun.
Right.
If you have those rabid fans that are always on the front row and they're going crazy for you, they love you that much, it makes the people in the back more inclined to have fun and go crazy for you also.
Give me some cons.
The cons is when they try to get into your personal life.
Man, but see, that's just two things. Like, there has to be more. You had one con, one pro. Like,
Well, there's a pro that
more ticket sales.
yeah, I was gonna
more-
say you know there's gonna be a certain amount of tickets that are sold at the beginning of every show. Like, soon as they go on tour, you got those people waiting in line. Like, I'm getting that ticket instantly because I'm gonna make sure, you know. And for like general admission shows, you know, it's not like they can get front row seating, but those are the people that are going to be there like 4 hours. They're going to be camping out in the parking lot earlier that day. So when the tour bus is parked out behind the venue, you can look out the window and see them already out there cooking hot dogs.
Yeah, man. Oh, crap. Who did I go see?
And people drive by. Like, people just drive by and like, who is that artist? Why are them people out there?
Man, I remember I went to go see Gojira, and dude, we went and the hotel room was like the hotel was like a 2-minute walk to the venue, and I was like, just let's go see the venue, let's see what it looks like, dude. I'm not joking. The show started at like 7. There were people camping out at like 11 in the morning, and it was only like 3 of them.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, it's not a big venue. Like, it's gonna you don't have to camp out. You'll get in here, but there are some people who are down like that.
Dude,
go ahead.
at the gathering, people would show up 4 and 5 days early.
Yeah, see, that's a festival.
It is
of
a festival.
Multiple.
But I mean, just like any other artist, you know, they do show up in the parking lots early in the day for the show. Are there any that just has no one? Like, it's just such a casual fan base that you look outside out of your tour bus and you're like, I don't think anybody's coming to this show. And then all of a sudden they just pile in the last second.
I mean, hey,
that may be more like modern rappers, maybe, where the Too Cool for School crowd only shows up like an hour after doors.
But see, that's the thing. In hip hop, the Too Cool for School are usually at the clubs. When it comes to shows, those people are like, it's not usually the people who listen to the music. I can't even say the demographic because it's
the casuals don't tend to buy tickets.
Exactly. But you have your typical, you got your nerdy, guy out there that you had no clue who knew who Project Pat was. But he's out there and bought his entire calculus club with him, and they're out there jamming. Meanwhile, the person who actually living that life, they just at home like, man, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, damn it, what was I
the kids that only listen to Project Pat because they got into the drift funk scene in Europe.
and so now you got a group full of Russians, group full of just sitting there, and they're out there waiting like, oh, I can't wait to hear this song. But the actual Project Pat fan, the 40-year-old dude at home that's amazing on the barbecue grill, he's like, man, I ain't going to go wait in line see that.
I saw him back in 2002.
Yeah. What?
The real fans from back in the day, they're just like, man, I've already saw him twice. That's good.
I love that though. I love that there's a resurgence of old music. I love that, dude.
Yeah, it's like like Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst talks about, that I look at my shows now and there's a whole new generation of kids out there because of the music resurging again. It's not like, hey, we're 50 now, all our fans are 50. Like, no, they're performing for kids again.
Again, man, that's see, now we can take that in a different direction. There's this stigma in hip hop where, oh, you're too old to be rapping. Snoop Dogg said the same thing. He's like, Snoop Dogg said, man, he said I went to Coachella, I think, or either Coachella or Rolling Loud, one of them, in 2024. He said it was nothing but 20 and below white kids. Yeah. And he was like, they knew every word to my song, man. Granted, everybody's not a Snoop Dogg, but still, Yeah. I mean, music is timeless, man.
It is, yeah.
Why is that stigma in hip hop?
What's that?
That you can't be a certain age. You don't hear.
I don't know. I think it's dying now because since the beginning of hip hop was only so old.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like 50-year-old people back in the 80s were going to start getting into hip hop because it was this brand new thing. That's for the kids, but now the audience has grown up with the artists, and there's 50, 60-year-old. Ice-T's got to be over 60 by now.
Yeah.
And still performing.
Looks great.
Nobody's going to go to Ice-T and be like, you're too old to rap.
Man, that's what I'm saying. But we're talking legends. We're talking Snoop. We're talking Ice-T's. And but
also, there's new artists over the age of 40 that are blowing up now.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, of course. That's the beauty about the internet. That's the beauty about social media.
You would have never saw that before.
No, not at all.
Social media, yeah.
No, you had mentioned, well, I guess I had said, those are the big artists, the Snoop Dogs, the Ice-T's. And then I was going to say, well, what about other genres? But then you had said, well, Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit said that, there's a whole generation of, new people that are listening to our music. So now I'm wondering, is there a band from when Limp Bizkit was at its height, and this band was out too, that just is anyone checking for 311 anymore? Is anyone checking? Is anyone going to?
I know every time you bring that up, there are comments that are like, "Yes, 311 is still doing it."
But are they doing it? Does 311? I know they're still doing it, but what I'm saying is do they have a Fred Durst said, do they have a whole generation of people?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean?
Because,
or Creed.
For one, 311 didn't reach the heights that Limp Bizkit did. Yeah, they were a huge band, of course, at a snapshot in time.
Right.
But
that's why I meant the big one, like the Snoop Dogs.
Yeah, see, they probably had their hardcore fan base at that time, and those people stuck with them throughout the years. So those are probably the same people still going to 311 shows today.
Right.
So they're probably seeing an older, but when you got a phenomena like Limp Bizkit that shot to the top of the music industry and it was so controversial and then they were the most hated band in the world, then they fell off and went away and came back, but those kids saw how iconic they were. The kids of now are like, this band was huge, let's listen how great they are, so they go and see them. But yeah, 311's probably not drawing in the teenagers like Limp Bizkit is. But I'm sure there's some that go.
Yeah, man, now I'm thinking about technology, dude. Think about how many younger fans, I know some of my friends' children who are fans of NWA. They have no idea who Eazy is.
Yeah.
But with technology, here's a question. You know how they had Tupac on with the
Coachella?
Yeah, and come on, the hologram of Tupac.
Yeah.
And then they had a hologram of DMX, and they had a hologram of XXXTentacion and DMX and Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
So do you think it's possible for at some point them to say, "Hey, here's a hologram concert, just a hologram concert of let's go with Nipsey Hussle."
Yeah.
I want to use somebody like the Trash Talkers. No, hell, give me somebody in rock that's gone, that wasn't big when they were here until they died. Until they died, and then they blew up. Can you think of anybody?
Well, Nirvana was huge while they were here, but they got even bigger after they were gone.
But you get what I'm saying? In hip hop, it's like, oh, you were cool when you're here, but when you die, skyrocket. Huh. Can you think of anybody in rock or metal like that?
Not right offhand, but I'm sure there's some. there's some probably that we've discovered on here, and we know they're gone,
Right.
but we didn't realize that they weren't big while they were here. Maybe Sublime,
All right. Let's take Sublime. Let's take Sublime. Let's
Brad Knoll.
Yeah, Brad Knoll, the lead singer. So let's be able to have a hologram of him. Do you think if they were to do that, and it looks just like him, he's out there, singing, like it's a perfect show. Do you think he's gonna have a whole new generation of kids? Like,
I would like to think so.
I would too, man.
The question though is, do the holographic? If you have an all holographic concert, how many people are buying tickets?
That's the thing.
Because they go to Coachella because they know Snoop Dogg is going to be there along with Tupac, and it's just cool to have that little added element. But are they going to? I mean, I would. That'd be something to see, right? Let's say you go to what's the big globe in Las Vegas?
Sphere.
Yeah, the Sphere. You go to the Sphere, and you get to see all these artists, like some massive, like Tupac and Biggie are performing, Sublime and Kurt Cobain, and they just
you
have
could call
this
it the
big,
Passed On tour.
Yes.
The Passed On tour. That'd be awesome.
Dude, that would be such a great show to see,
But
in my opinion.
You know what's popping in my head when you say that though? Remember when COVID was happening and everyone was doing virtual concerts?
Yeah.
People
Kinda
weren't really,
like that.
but they weren't really. I guess it's different than physically going.
Yeah.
Than just looking at it on.
It was weird with those virtual concerts because you're watching the screen, you're seeing a concert, right? But you can tell the artists are not quite putting everything into it because there's nobody in front of them. And it's like that when you're an artist, because when you first start out doing shows and nobody shows up, it is so hard to go on stage. You got your 5 people, your homies,
your groupies
right there. Yeah.
You got your groupies.
They're just standing there in front of the stage, and you're like,
dude, we could have did this at home.
Yeah.
Could have did this at home.
Exactly. They got the bar staff is back there in the back, go for it.
And y'all buying drinks, meaning it cost us more money to do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know.
But that's how everybody starts out. Yeah.
I mean, have you ever been a groupie?
Been a groupie?
Yeah. You ever been a groupie? You were kind of a ICP juggalo group.
Well, I was a fan of their stuff. I mean, I ended up working for them.
Does that make you a groupie?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know. I mean, you traveled everywhere they went.
Yeah, because they were paying me to.
But I'm saying you were also a fan, though.
Yeah.
Does that make you a groupie?
Maybe.
Yeah, and
I mean, usually though, an artist would be like, "I ain't hiring no groupies," Like
well, you're the
it was
good
almost
groupie.
like a gang where they're like, "We got to see if he's cool, though."
Well, yeah, you were also making music with some of the guys there.
Exactly. I wrote some songs for him. I was in the studio before I ever did anything on that tour or anything.
Man, well, would you call yourself? Hey, by definition, I guess you could say I was a groupie.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, and
I don't mind that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong derogatory with it. If that's a band that you F with, F with,
Yeah.
I mean, and dude, you had Smokey's told me some great stories on camera and off camera. Mm-hmm. You had some of the greatest times being at these things by being associated with this particular
absolutely, man. In hip hop, being a fan became a derogatory term at some point in time. No artist can exist without fans, but they started using it like, "Oh, you're just a fan. You're not a real one."
Yeah.
And why is a fan a bad thing? You can't be an artist without having fans. I mean, you could, but you're not making any money.
I don't think it's because I have heard many artists say they don't like. I think it's the word. Oh, I'm a fan of you. I think they would prefer the word supporter. I support you. But I get it. It's nothing wrong with being a fan.
Fan is a great word.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of that person, absolutely be a fan of it.
Yeah.
But and there are artists out there who's well, then now you got to ask the question: does that person who doesn't like the word fan, do they not like the word groupie?
I bet not. Yeah.
God dang, that's a group of I got it. A group of fans are called groupies.
Yeah.
So groupies, because I remember I said, what would you call a group of groupies?
Yeah.
I guess it would be groupies.
Fans.
How I always give you trivia. What do you call a group of ducks? What do you call a group of? What do you call a group of groupies? Fans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I would say that. Because
how could you not?
The groupies are fans, but there's also fans who are not groupies.
Okay, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know.
I gotta
Groupies is
Google
the
this.
term.
I gotta Google. If there's a what is
mean,
the?
I would say groupies is the term.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a group of people.
Yeah.
You would think it would be groupies. I'm just curious if there is a word for that.
Yeah.
What is a group of groupies?
Because the groupies are the diehard fans.
What is?
They're not just coming to your show. They want to know you personally.
I gotta see this. What is a group of groupies called?
There's been some people who become famous from being groupies.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Is there a term?
Well, what were you about to say?
I was just saying there's some people in history who have become famous themselves from being groupies.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. So actually, there is a word, retinue.
I retinue.
R-E-T-I-N-U.
Retinue.
Retinue. A group of groupies can be referred to as a retinue. So a group of groupies, other terms that could be used include a circle, courtier, entourage, or simply fans. The specific term used would depend on the context and the nature of the group's relationship with the celebrity or the band they follow. But what a retinue?
I wouldn't use entourage because that usually refers to somebody you've actually paid
actually
to be there. Or, I mean, I guess you don't necessarily have to pay everyone, but a lot of people do. But, it's your people that roll with you that you really trust.
So a group of groupies is a retinue.
Mm-hmm.
And I Googled what does retinue mean. A retinue means a group of advisors, assistants, or others accompanying you on an important, or accompanying an important person. There you go.
I think they're giving a little too much weight to the group.
They're expanding it a little bit.
Yeah, they're like, so a lot of artists are going to be like, I don't know if I'm getting advice from the groupies.
Man, I got a friend who was so, like, big Slipknot fan. Mm-hmm. And this person actually got, and her favorite member was Joey. And she got to meet Joey, and she loved Joey. She went to so many Slipknot concerts and loved everything about this guy. When she met him, couldn't say a word, didn't, just like.
Yeah.
And I mean, she said it was the weirdest thing ever. She's like, my brain just couldn't conceive that I'm seeing what I've been wanting to see forever.
Yeah, that's a shame. I don't know. I mean, I've never had that situation happen, but I understand how it happens because you've already went through every scenario in your mind of what I would say if I met this person.
Until it happens.
So many scenarios that at that second, they all hit your brain at the exact same time. And then you're gridlocked and nothing comes out.
Yeah. Man, that sucks. Have you ever been starstruck before?
Nah.
Never? Was
there anybody I've had people that I was like, it was cool to meet that person, but
have you ever seen someone like, dude, that is, and you didn't, like, you wanted to say hello, but never, like, never?
Not really.
Man.
You know what? I wanted to say what's up to Ice Cube, but
why didn't you?
Because he was not letting anyone near him. He had a whole team he had a retinue around him. That was the only artist, like the only huge artist that was like just blocked off. Like almost a line of people making sure nobody is near him when he walks to the stage and goes back to the bus.
We're also talking about Ice Cube.
Yeah, I mean, one probably top 5 greatest rapper of all time.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is something about those the Ice-T's you mentioned, the Snoop Dogs I mentioned, the Ice Cubes, the Lip Biscuits.
Well, I mean, Busta Rhymes didn't have all that. I mean, yeah, boy, Flavor Flav.
I heard Flavor Flav
hung out with everybody.
Yeah, I heard he didn't care.
He just hung out and partied all night. Like, people he didn't even know. He's just like, what are we doing tonight?
Dang, I heard a story. Who was it? I can't. Was it? God, who was it? It wasn't Ozzy. It was. I can't remember who. It was some. Trash Talkers, if y'all remember. But he had told the crowd. He said, "Hey, do not do drugs. Unless you're doing them with me." I can't remember who that was, but I was like, damn it, I can't remember. If y'all know who I'm talking about. It was a short I saw. It was like, it was this legendary moment. I can't remember who it was, but I mean.
That sounds like something I was.
Well, that's why I popped my.
Reminded me of that commercial that he did recently.
Oh, yeah.
They're over there with that liquid death powder. He just rolls up. Don't snort that.
That's so funny, dude. Out of every wait, hold on. If out of everybody on planet Earth, if Ozzy tells me not to do it, I ain't doing it. If that dude says
he
don't
knows.
do it, I ain't doing it.
He knows what you can and can't do.
I mean, that dude's probably got it down to his. Okay, how many pounds you weigh? All right, what's your blood type? All right, you can do that much and you'll have a pretty good time.
Quarter gram. Quarter gram's perfect.
No. Just that right there. All right, man. Ozzy's the doctor, dude. Ozzy's the doctor.
He's got to be at this point.
Hey, Ozzy, you ever seen these? Yeah, actually, I have. They're not real though.
Yeah, he could probably be that friend for you.
Hey, Ozzy, what is this powder? DLCH 13479. Hell
It's
is
been
that?
stepped on, though. Who'd you get it from?
Dude, I don't even know what.
Good.
I don't even know what you just said. What this is? I was expecting the K word, the C word, the M word.
You just walk up and he's like, "You got a quarter pound in your pocket, right?"
Bro,
how did you know?
This is crushed up amoxicillin and tramadol. Yeah, I could smell it from a mile away. How? How? God. I don't know, dude. Ozzy, I bet had some. Oh, I know he had crazy.
Oh, you know it, bro. Yeah, he probably took a lot of them back to the hotel.
Yeah. Damn. Have you heard any stories of who welcomed the groupies? Y'all want to come in? Come on in.
I don't know about all of them, but I did see a story of Mick Jagger actually making songs about a famous groupie.
Didn't we do a song? It was a female about. I mean,
it was "Give Me Shelter."
Oh, okay. No, we had. Well,
we did the song, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's a song that we did. I think by it was either Mick Jagger or Guns N' Roses, and it was. Remember we were saying how many? We feel like it was a Tribe video. We were like, so many videos are about a girl, you know, and we were like, how many songs can you guys names about a girl? You remember we were talking about that? Yeah. What if all these songs that were made about girls were all just groupies? You know,
that was a lot of them are.
That was the best. Rosanna,
yeah,
the best. Yeah. Even though
Roxanne,
Janis Joplin, she was like, you know who my best groupie was?
Bobby McGee.
Bobby McGee, dang it! I've had many great groupies in my life, but let me tell you something about old Bobby.
yeah, big old horse, man.
God dang. Nah, have you heard the term hung like a? Well, let me tell you about old Bobby. God dang, Bobby, hold on, bro.
Bobby just bazooka, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I bet tons of those songs have been written for people that they met through the shows, you know.
Man.
And a lot of people probably wouldn't even want to use the term groupie, especially if they're like, no, that's just a special fan to me.
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't mind it myself because, like I said, you asked me, would you consider yourself one? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
See, I mean, I didn't really. There's no one I really followed like that. You were more in touch with the inner circle of those. So I mean. Oh,
that brings up a funny story.
Here we go.
Well, no, I mean this is. You see, I'd actually met Bobby McGee at the second stage. One of the hype men for one of the artists got fired. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he did something controversial and got fired. So, also one of the beat makers and another one of the hype men, as a matter of fact, were all let go pretty much around the same time. So I had this friend Adam who was going to put us all together as an artist, and we were going to call ourselves the Inner Circle.
Wait, hold on. 2 hype men got kicked out?
Yeah, and a beat maker.
Instead of being called the Inner Circle, they should be called the Rejects. All y'all got kicked out?
Yeah. But he thought it would be good if we could make a project together, you know. And it wasn't really anything controversial, you know. We weren't going to just make a whole diss record or whatever. But I was like, yeah, let's do it, you know. Yeah. Why not make an album? And the label got really mad. I mean, well, I say the label. Somebody got mad, and somebody relayed to somebody that album's not going to happen. But we were going to call it the Inner Circle because we were all people that happened to be on the inner circle of the the label.
It would have been so awesome. Just because all three were fired, and then you were brought in. It would have been awesome if y'all would have thought of the name, the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. I don't even. What's that movie?
That's what I was saying. If it came out before the movie, that would have been epic.
Yeah.
You know what? Wait, isn't that what's the name's Hype Man? Yeah, we fired him. He's rejected. Isn't that what's the name's Hype Man?
What year did Devil's Reject come out? You remember that?
The who?
Devil's Rejects.
I don't. I can look it up real quick if you like.
Yeah. I don't know if it was even out yet. But I don't know. It had to be. This happened around 2008 or 9, maybe 2009.
Yeah, this came out 2005.
Okay, yeah, so it was already out. That would have been a good idea, though.
I came out the year I graduated high school. Jesus, I'm getting old.
But yeah, I mean, we just talked about it, and I think maybe put it out on MySpace, like, hey, we're doing a project, guys, look for it. Somebody got mad.
The inner circle. Circle. And you bring it all back to where we are sitting right now, and lo and behold, we enjoy a band called A Perfect Circle.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely. Are we groupies?
No, I mean, I feel like when you say groupie, you have to follow the band around, right?
I would say,
if that's the case, then that goes...
At least you have to hit them every time they come to your town. That would be the least you could do to be a groupie.
Because then I was about to say, if you say, no, you don't have to follow them around, then I would say, then that goes back to me saying, well, then isn't every groupie a fan, but every fan is not a groupie?
Yeah. I mean, but there's casual fans for everything. You know, the people that are like,
that's us.
I'll go to the show.
Yeah, I mean, we're casual fans.
Well, most people are. I'd say the majority of people are, but we're also music addicts.
Yeah, god dang. I guess
I don't know. I feel left out, man.
What you feel left out about?
I want to be a groupie. I want somebody to be obsessed about.
Why do I feel like we need to go to rehab or something? The way you bringing this up, you're doing it all without me, man. I want to go do it too. We're addicts. Yeah. Hey, admitting is the first step. I'll admit it. I'm a music addict. I'm a music junkie.
Yeah.
I know we brought this up, but the day it gets to the point, like if music just becomes like you can't get in touch with it. It's obsolete. No one can find it. Like back in the day, if y'all ever read the book Fahrenheit 451, they tried to burn all books. They wanted to rewrite history. Yeah. If there's a time where all internet music just gets scrubbed from the internet, and me and Smokey are two music junkies, we're knocking on the dope dealer door. Hey, bro, let me get that tool. I know you got that tool. Bro, please tell me that new Perfect Circle drive.
Dude, it could be. I mean, if that scenario were to play out, that there would be people actually fiending for
music. I mean, God, if you were the plug for that, and like your favorite band was
whoever had to hide the CDs from authorities. You know?
Let's say your favorite band's Cradle of Filth, and that the plug is like, no one else in this county has music, but I got it. And he's like, you know what you want to hear, man? Do you got any new Cradle of Filth? Yeah, I got it. But look, how much is it? It's gonna be $15 for 30 seconds. All right.
It's like you going to a Sam Goody back in the day.
You're literally, yeah. All right, give it back. And you're like, give me one more.
Here, take this. I got a card. Just scan it for what you need, man. I need an hour.
All right, hold on. All right, I got 10 more bucks. All right. Wait.
Dude, it could get to that point, though. I know it sounds very hyperbolic, but it could get to that point because we are so entrenched in it these days. We have it such at our disposal that you don't realize it at this time. But if it were all taken away, you would almost go insane trying to get it back.
Well, according to
it's too easy to get for us right now. We don't realize it.
According to what you just said, we are addicts.
Yeah,
we would be knocking at that door. Mm-hmm. We'd be knocking at that door.
I mean, we literally sit down and make videos many times a week about music,
and they scrub all this.
Yeah,
and we're like, man, dude, that is so true because there are times like there's a song that'll get stuck in my head and I can't go to sleep, and it won't get out of my head until I hear the song. Yes. Could you imagine that? Where it's just like an addict or a junkie, you got that itch you can't scratch unless you get it. This song's been playing in your head over and over and over again, but there's that one person who's got that I'm still alive, but you need to hear that. All right, bro. Thank you. And, bro, you get your fix. That's all I needed, bro. Appreciate it. That's all I needed. It could
Like,
get there.
can I just come back here every like 5 o'clock in the evening? Like, just give me a half hour a day. Okay,
Hey, hold on. No, it's $50 for 30 seconds.
Jesus,
You got
Christ, man.
people would pay it. People would pay it.
Somebody would, yeah. As a matter of fact, somebody would, because you don't know what you got until it's gone.
Until it's gone, dude. Not only that, you could have raised. God, I hope that day never comes.
Yeah, if you're the only one that's got it. But that's the thing. They wipe out all digital stuff. You couldn't just go get a thumb drive because they can trace that. So you can't go plug it into your computer.
Physical.
It's got to be a hard copy.
Yes.
And it's got to be hidden for whenever somebody throws a raid. Like, I heard you had music here.
Dude, we need to. Have you ever read Fahrenheit 451?
Oh, nah.
I
know of it, but
we need to
never read it.
rewrite that book, but instead of books, music.
Yeah.
I just gave anybody you free. Feel free to use that idea.
The post-apocalyptical dystopia of a world without music.
Music, dude. That
In a world
without music, that'd be
Yeah.
so great, dude. Where people literally they wanted to rewrite history. They didn't want people reading, so they burned it. But there were certain people that's like, you want to read the 3rd chapter of Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. But dude, if we did that with music, you want to hear the 3rd song on Invincible or on pick an album, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Turn on 99. Like, oh, it could get like that, man.
I mean, it was kind of like that in the early days.
What you mean?
Think about it, man, because people didn't have music players in their house.
No.
So, they would be fiending to go to the concert on Saturday night where there's just some local band that happened to play music, and you're like, I got to go see that.
Man, and that's the
Because
deal.
you go around all day long, no music.
No music. So if it comes to that point in life, that dope dealer is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Man. Again, hold on, just to run. If it don't make dollars,
It don't make sense. So just in case this scenario plays out, make sure you have a stack of physical copies of all the music you find good, because you might need it one day. And if this ban does happen, hide it deep in a airproof, like,
bury it.
Yes.
Time capsule.
Yes, and something that's completely waterproof, airproof, airtight, whatever. Just make sure nothing gets to this stuff.
God.
And then you will be rich after that.
Bring it back to Groupies, Smoke.
Wait at least like 6-8 months when people are really fiending too.
I was gonna ask you to bring it back to Groupies, but that's gonna be the number
The
one.
groupies are gonna be the first
That's
ones out there
gonna be your
buying it.
best customers right there,
Yeah.
buddy. That's gonna be your best customers.
Yep. I had a friend who used to, like, I remember we'd go hang out all the time, and when the Mystical album first came out, Unpredictable, and we would play that all the time, and I go pick him up. He'd be like, "Turn that album on, man. I've been fiending to hear that."
Yeah, dude. Imagine if you have an album and, like you said, we get to the point where no one has it. Imagine if you got it and it still got the rapper on it.
Oh.
Like, you know how you like to all our chronic smokers out there. You know when you bust that pack and you get that, like, look, bro, I got a cassette of Opiate by Tool. Yes, it's called Opiate.
In the package.
In the package.
That'd be. I mean, I don't know, is it still in production? Is the question.
But
it might still
I'm saying,
be
what
worth
if he
something
had
now.
one from like back in the day that has never been Opiate?
Yeah.
Opiate, over and open,
Yeah.
and he's just, that would make some people in itself just,
Absolutely.
God dang.
I used to get the cellophane off, and I'd undo the bottom hinge and flip it forward so that you can just
pull it out,
peel the sticker right off of it in one clean swoop.
See, all right,
Then
how'd
it
you do
comes
your?
right
All right,
off
so
and-
what, you talking about CDs or
CDs.
cassette? How'd you do it again?
You once you take the cellophane off, you get the bottom hinge at the very bottom, and you pull your fingernail in there and pull it down, and then fold the top completely over.
You're talking about the plastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the clear plastic piece.
Oh, yeah.
You
All
fold it completely over so that you got that sticker holding it on there, and then you just pull down and it pulls the sticker off cleanly.
The way I used to do mine is I would take, because you know how it's got that weird little fold at the bottom, like on each corner side.
Yeah.
I would take the two off and I would hold the top and just like let it shoot. Because just trying to be a collector, man. I don't know.
But you see so many people struggling with the stickers. They're like, I can't get it off. And I'm like, here's how you do it.
Yeah.
You just flip that off, flip it over, and it peels right off.
There you go, man.
Man, that feeling would be so good. if you didn't have music anymore.
See, he's over here fiending for it right now.
I know. Let's listen to some music,
Let's
man.
do it, man. You got anything else for this episode?
That's it for this week.
100% Trash Talkers, you guys let us know. Is groupies a good thing or a bad thing? Give us your opinion down in the comment section. Have you ever been a groupie? Let us know what artists. Let us know any interesting stories you guys have. And also, how much would you pay for $30 or 30 minutes of music if there was no music on this planet whatsoever? Stay tuned for next episode of Trash Talkers Podcast next week. And with that being said, my name's Smokey and Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez.
And we are
over out. Deuces. Yeah, boy.